Hey there everybody, Sage Popham here, founder of the School of Evolutionary Herbalism. And in this video, I want to talk to you about the nature of preventative medicine. And I think this is one of the strong points that we see in just the whole alternative medicine scene, right? That, in kind of our more modern biomedical paradigm of medicine, it's really typically focused not so much on health, but just on sickness, right? On treating disease and illness and symptoms and using medicine when you get sick. And I think that's a very interesting orientation, that the practice of medicine being focused more on sickness rather than health. And I think one of the strong points of not just herbal medicine, but just more holistic, or what we might refer to as alternative medicine these days, is that it's more focused on health, right? On being a healthy person and living a healthy life. And in that way, preventing disease from ever taking root. And of course, there's, what I refer to as the 5 roots of health, which are your basic things that everyone talks about as being kind of the critical elements of living a healthy life, right? And I tend to relate them to the 5 elements of earth, water, air, fire, and ether, where you've got, your diet and eating good quality foods, and you got your hydration, drinking good water, ingesting, quality oils. You've got sleep, right? Making sure you're getting enough sleep and having good psychological health. You've got exercise, that fire element, right? Making sure there's adequate movement in your life. And I also include in there, under the ether element, that purpose, right? That I don't think we're truly healthy in terms of the wholeness of who we are unless we have a purpose in our life, unless we've got an aspiration, a goal, a dream, something that we're working towards that's not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of our family, our friends, our community, our culture, the world as a whole, right? That we have some sort of mission to make this world a better place. And that's what I think of as purpose and path. And I think these are obviously foundational aspects of living a healthy life, right? I call them the 5 root determinants of health, right? And we all know that, right? That was nothing new that I just shared with you. But when we look at traditional systems of medicine, Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Hippocratic medicine, traditional Western medicine, we see that there are specific kind of protocols and approaches to the healing process that go beyond just treating disease or symptoms, but shift us more into an approach to preventing disease from ever making its onset. And I think one of the strong suits of these traditions of medicine is that they have an understanding of the Constitution. They have an understanding of our own unique physiological composition, like what our tendencies are. Some people tend to be, a little colder and heavier and sluggish, and maybe their liver and their digestion aren't super strong. Maybe other people, are really tense and nervous, and, they have more difficulties and weakness in their nervous system or in their muscles or things like that. Some people tend to be really hot, and really intense and burn the candle at both ends and burn themselves out. And maybe they have a weakness in their heart and their circulation or their immune system, right? That we all have a unique disposition, both physiologically and psychologically. And from a holistic medicine standpoint, this is powerful stuff, because you can have 3 people with the same symptom, but with a different underlying cause based on their constitution. And so you're going to treat that symptom very differently. But what we want to look at is, why did that symptom manifest, right? The way we see a symptom from a vitalist standpoint is that A symptom is a message. It's a communication from our body saying, hey, something's off. Like, you're living in a certain way, or maybe eating a certain food, or you're running yourself down, you're too stressed out, whatever it is, there's some sort of communication from the body that's, informing us to adjust how we live each and every day to be in balance. And when we're talking about preventative medicine, what this really comes down to me, is understanding our physical constitution, our psychological temperament in a very deep way, and how, our activities, what we eat, what we drink, how much or little and quality of our sleep, our exercise, all those things that I was talking about, how we're interfacing with our world, the world around us, is directly affecting our constitution, and can be either replenishing and rejuvenative and strengthening to our being, or it can be diminishing and depleting and wearing ourselves down and further weakening and setting up ourselves for those predispositions to manifest. And so a model of preventative medicine is all about understanding the self and strategically designing how you live each and every day to strengthen your true nature, to come into balance within yourself, which involves coming into balance with the external world. So following, adjusting your lifestyle so that with the turning of the seasons, with the changing of the weather, with, your unique ecosystem where you live, potentially rearranging your social structures and what kind of people you hang out with, your relationships, and how you think and how you feel, and really reflecting on yourself and on your life and how you can find that balance on all levels of being. What I love about the astrological pattern is that it gives you a very specific snapshot into someone's unique constitution and temperament. And that enables you to understand the forces that are influencing someone's life and their health, and what types of disease predispositions they have. And so what's cool about that is that you can look at someone's birth chart, and based on the structure of the planets and the signs and their relationships to one another, you can see directly, maybe this person has Saturn in Leo in the 6th house of health. And that Saturn is like this constrictive, restricting force and can kind of stagnate energy. And Leo is the heart and the circulatory system. And this is in a sign of, in the house of your health and your daily life. And from that information, obviously, you're not going to tell someone, whoa, you've got Saturn and Leo in the 6th house. That looks like a heart attack, right? He's like, you got to be really careful with what you say. But what we see here is that it gives you a very specific piece of information on how that person might be predisposed to a heart condition. And from that information, you can start to make recommendations for how someone lives their daily life, as well as what types of herbs you can give to someone to prevent that disease from ever taking root. So Saturn tends to be very cold, very restrictive, very dry, kind of reduces the flow of vitality. So maybe we want to give this person, some hawthorn to help strengthen their heart and their vasculature. Maybe we want to give them some linden or some motherwort to help relax that tension in the cardiovascular system. Maybe we want to give them a little ginger and cayenne in that formula to help warm up and stimulate the circulation of their blood. And so you see, you're designing an herbal formula that is based on their constitutional patterns and predispositions that's going to prevent that predisposition from ever taking root. And that is an incredibly, this is such powerful stuff that you can get so specific in the herbs you select and creating protocols and formulas that are going to really help that person to balance the excessive forces, to strengthen their deficiencies and their weaknesses, to maybe tamp down excesses, and ultimately help them to find that constitutional balance that they ultimately need. And what's so cool about astrology is that Saturn and that Leo and that 6th house doesn't just have to do with the body, right? Obviously, it has to do with the mind. It has to do with our psyche. It has to do with the soul. And so that Saturn in Leo in the 6th house, maybe there's something going on in their mind that is related to that physical symptom or predisposition. So, Saturn, Leo is like very expressive. It's a fire sign. It likes to be creative. It's a very creative sign. It likes to express itself. It likes to sometimes be the center of attention, right? That it wants to be out there in the world and showing who they are, displaying who they are out into the world. And maybe Saturn is restricting that. Maybe this person feels very closed off. Maybe they are a creative person but lost touch with their creativity and they feel really stuck and stagnant in their creative life, right? This is just a quick little way that we could see that same pattern manifest psychologically. And maybe working with those herbs is not just going to address the physiological side, but it's going to address the psychological side of that pattern too. It's going to help them to express that part of their astral body in a healthy and harmonious way. And so this is what's so cool about Astro-Herbalism, is that it gives you a holistic map of the whole human organism and how you can apply plants to address the wholeness of the person and ultimately prevent disease from ever happening. And I think that is the direction that I think the new paradigm of medicine as a whole should move into, right? I mean, to me, health isn't just not being sick, right? Health is physical vitality. It's physical energy. Like you feel vital, you feel energized, that your mind feels free and clear and liberated and inspired, that, your heart feels open and strong and clear, and you feel love, you feel joy, you feel happiness, right? That you feel uplifted, that you feel like you're doing something in this world that's making a difference, that you're living in accordance with your purpose and your path and why you were put here on this Mother Earth. To me, all of that is what constitutes health on a physical level, on a psychological level, and on a spiritual level. And anywhere on that spectrum of being, if something's off, then I don't really consider us to be fully healthy. And these plant medicines have the power to address those different layers of the self. And the astrology gives you a very specific kind of diagnostic tool to see those different layers of the self and to then translate that into lifestyle, dietary protocols, to herbal formulas and protocols that you can use to rejuvenate the whole person. And I think that's the direction I would love to see herbal medicine specifically, and just medicine as a whole, go into, so that we're having an approach to medicine that is focused on health, that's focused on our spirituality, that's focused on our psychology, that's focused on rejuvenating ourselves and having that vibrancy and vitality on all levels of being. So I get into the specific chart dynamics in a lot more detail in the third video in the Astro-Herbalism mini course. I'm showing you the specific areas of the chart to understand those health predispositions, disease predispositions, constitutional dynamics. The second video, I'm giving you the whole blueprint for how to see the specific dynamics of the planets as they manifest in people and plants. And I'm also just going over with you the 5 critical ways that integrating medical astrology into your practice of herbalism takes it to a whole new level of specificity, precision, efficiency, and ultimately efficacy, so that when you're working with someone, you're able to get to the roots of what's going on with them and use herbs in a way that is bringing about that physical, psychological, and spiritual rejuvenation, and really tending to and taking care of the whole person by using the whole plant, by seeing their relationship to the wholeness of the cosmos. So I hope you'll join me in the Astro-Herbalism mini course. If you're watching this on the blog, click the link below and put your name and email in on that page to get this totally free mini course. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link below to get access to this training as well. If you're watching or listening to this anywhere else, head on over to our website at evolutionaryherbalism.com, and we would love to see you in the Astro-Herbalism mini course. I'm really excited about this program and this training. This is a lot of really incredible material in there for you, and I hope you'll check it out. I hope to see you in there. Look forward to reading your comments and your questions in the very busy chat roll that is happening underneath there, and I look forward to serving you through that. So thanks so much for taking the time to check out this new edition of the blog and the podcast. And until next time, take care and be well.